Good morning, agents, and welcome to another daily episode of Targeted Loot today for September 12th, the series that shows you the Targeted Loot map, farming tips and tricks, and much more. I'm Agent Shadow, and if you enjoy my content, please consider smashing the subscribe and like buttons below, and check the video description for all named gear and weapon spreadsheets that I mentioned in these videos. Also, you can check the pinned comment below for the Discord link and how to join the Shadow Crew clan on PC, Xbox, and PS4, or you can check out my new merch store I just opened through Teespring. I got some really cool stuff on there, so definitely go check it out. Help support my channel, so thank you, agents. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started with the Dark Zones first, and the highlights from the Dark Zone vendors, then DC, then New York last. So, in DZ West, we got Douglas and Harding, and we got the Death Grips with armor on kill, and repair skills rolled onto it. And the Death Grips, that armor on kill, which is I think at 5%, is being increased to 10% armor on kill. So it's definitely worth getting now, because on the PTS it's been buffed. So definitely go and grab those today. Remember, the DZ resources, you just go into the Dark Zone, and you just grab any loot that you can, and then deconstruct it. And then deconstruct it in the contaminated bag, and then extract those DZ resources that you get from deconstructing the loot. You need usually 152 to buy stuff. Like, at least the top named stuff is always like 152 DZ resources. In DZ South, we got Wyvernware, so that's Claws Out holster. You can definitely farm for that. You can farm either when it's holsters, targeted loot, or Wyvernware. Wyvernware is the brand set for the Claws Out holster, so you can get that. It comes with melee damage and 10% pistol damage as well. It's definitely worth getting. And then in the vendor, you got the Zero F's chest piece. It's rolled with, well, it has perfectly unbreakable first off. It's rolled with armor regen, and skill haste. So you'd probably want to roll off that skill haste for sure. And then gear sets in DZ East. This is the highlight for today for sure. Biggest highlight. Because you can get System Corruption. That's a DZ exclusive, and I don't even remember the last time gear sets were targeted loot in the Dark Zones. Real quick, the DZ East vendor has the Night Watcher mask that has that scanner pulse haste on it. So I'll show you guys real quick what both of those are real quick if you don't know already. So this is the Night Watcher mask. It has a 100% scanner pulse haste on it. And then if you're looking for the System Corruption, this is it. And what's great about it is you can get the 2 pieces, gives you 15% armor on kill. Really, all you really want from this System Corruption is just 2 pieces, and it doesn't need to be the backpack or chest piece. You just want to get the 2 pieces that give you 15% armor on kill. It's great for DPS builds, and it's just something new that you can try out. In fact, I might actually try to put a build video up this week of System Corruption 2 pieces, because I rarely see it anymore, and it's actually a really good build. Alright guys, well, let's go ahead and move on to the north side highlights. So we got submachine guns at Camp White Oak. Remember, Lady Death. You can refarm the Chatterbox. If you don't have the Chatterbox already, I'll put the 5-minute quick, guide on how to get it in like a couple of hours in the top right card right now. You can also farm for the top tier SMGs like the Vector variants or the MPXs. You can get the safety distance and the swap chain named SMGs. So that's definitely worth it at Camp White Oak. And remember, the invaded missions are Camp White Oak, Bank HQ, DCD headquarters, Roosevelt Island as the stronghold, and then that all culminates into Tidal Basin at the end. We got skill attachments at the ballpark. It's not worth farming for, in my opinion. And Fenris, it's always just worth it usually for that 1 piece, 10% assault rifle damage. And then Golan gear at Manning National Zoo for those 10% status effects. It goes great with this is my Eclipse Protocol fire build. Or actually, no, that's on my other character, but it's a 4-piece Eclipse Protocol build with Imperial Dynasty or the Vial holster, and then 1 piece of Golan gear. You usually want to roll skill tier on it, or if you're running the Technician, you can keep the armor roll on it for some extra armor, unless you just want more weapon damage. It just depends on what you want. Alright agents, we're over here on the west side highlights. So we got Alp Summit Armament at West End. Now you get the percussive maintenance with perfect tech support on it if you want. It's a named item I honestly don't usually use. Tech support doesn't really belong on Alp Summit because it just starts off with 20% repair skills. You'd rather tech support on something like Wyvernware or Hana Yu. But you can farm for like a good healer build chest piece if you don't have the Future Initiative chest piece. So you can get like an Alp Summit chest piece with skill haste and repair skills on it, with the Empathetic Resolve as the talent on the chest piece, and then like Safeguard on the backpack. Sokolov Concern at the Potomac Event Center. So you always use Sokolov Concern in replacement of Providence Defense if you run an SMG. So if you're running an SMG as your main or even your secondary, it just depends on how much you use it. That 10% SMG damage is always worth it. And then the second piece is crit hit damage. Third piece is crit hit chance. We got Walker Harrison Co. at Constitutional Hall, so that perfect headhunter chain killer named chess piece, definitely worth farming for here. And you got 3 control points to hit it up with. Gear System Mods at Downtown West, you got a couple of control points here to farm for. Try to get those 12% crit hit damage mods. Now in the PTS, the bleed resistant mods, all the resistance mods that were going from 10 to 20%, they reverted that change for the week 2 of PTS. Now that may not be final. I'm pretty sure that it will be final, but if you were farming for those 20% resistance mods, you probably can stop. I don't know for sure if that's like I said, I don't know if that's going to stick and if they're not going to revert it back to 20% again, but for now it's still stuck at 10% resistance mods now. And then Douglas and Harding, we got over here at Bank HQ. You can farm for the Punch Drunk Mask with the 20% headshot damage baked into it. It goes great with the perfect headhunter build, like the headshot build, or Dodge City holster pistol build. But that's as long as mask isn't available. You usually want to farm masks. Rifles at DCD headquarters. You can farm for the Diamondback and Merciless exotics. You can also farm for the Darkness, I believe. Or actually, the Darkness is an MMR, I believe. No. The Darkness is a rifle. It's an MK17. And then you can also farm for a good classic M1A or an M1A CQB. The best damage talents on those, I always roll with Boomerang, and then Ranger, and then Rifleman. Those are the top 3 damage talents for sure. If you're running a skill build, just throw in Sync on it so you can get quite a bit of damage from the M1A even without any weapon damage core attribute rolls. We also got Golan Gear again at West Potomac Park, so you can farm this open world. You got 3 control points you can farm here if you don't want to go up to Manning National Zoo, which most people don't. And then Araldo Holdings at Tidal Basin. You usually want to run 2 pieces with the perfect headhunter chess piece and 3 pieces of aces and 8s for a good headshot build. Alright, so we also got Gilligard at DARPA Research Labs. Now, that's great for shield builds. I never farm for it personally. Comment in the comment section below if you guys ever farm for Gilligard and what builds you guys put together with it. I'm really interested in knowing that. And then yeah, you got Richter and Kaiser at Roosevelt Island. That's good to mix with Alp Summit on a healer build. Otherwise, not much except for the knee pads at White House. You can get those Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads with that 25% bonus armor when you vault or do a cover to cover. And it reloads your weapon. And you're going to need those because some people are not going to be able to want to have that bleed on the new Backfire SMG every time you reload. And with the bleed resistance mods going from 20 to 10%, nobody's going to run the bleed resistance mods anymore. So the only next thing you can do really is the Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads. They'll reload it for you when you vault or do cover to cover, and it'll skip the bleed. So that might be something you're interested in farming for. And yes, they are no longer a DZ exclusive since I think TU10. And then of course you can get the Fox's Prayer knee pads and then the Sawyer's knee pads with that 30% weapon damage as long as you're sitting still. And remember, the Fox's Prayer knee pads are really important, but the Contractor's gloves are not as important. You want that 8% damage to targets out of cover. It's multiplicative damage. It works with almost every NPC as long as they're not in cover, which they usually aren't. So it's definitely worth farming for, and it pairs so well with damage to targets out of cover on any of your weapons. It's all multiplicative damage. It's all so worth it to run. I usually run Fox's Prayer knee pads with almost any DPS build. Alright agents, here we are over at the east side. Before we get to New York City, we got Badger Tough at Downtown East. We got Seska at the southwest area for those XP farms at No Hope Hotel. And over here at Demolition Site as well. Now I would farm over here for the 0F's chess piece. As much as you might think, I need the 0F's chess piece at the Dark Zone vendor in the DZ South today, it's not worth it in my opinion. The rolls aren't good enough. And they roll with that, with the couple of armor rolls. You want the armor roll usually. If you can get one with all red, that's great too. It just depends on what you're building it for. I'm usually building Perfect Unbreakable for a DPS build. So if you want the extra armor roll at the very beginning, that's cool. That's worth it. But if you don't, you can keep farming for them, especially with Demolition Site. I'd say every 6 minutes, let's say, just because you might be newer at it if you don't know about it. Every 6 minutes, you drop so much loot, and you'll probably get a 0S chest piece every couple of these runs. At least that's what happens in my own experience. So it's worth it to farm for that for sure, and Unbreakable is kind of a new meta in the DPS build area, honestly. I honestly think that it's just better than Intimidate and Adrenaline Rush. I always like having that extra armor bar. It's like an extra life, and everyone else kind of loves it too. I just personally don't like the Intimidate that much, because all it does is give me extra damage, and I don't really want extra damage. I want some survivability too. You got shotguns at DUA, so you can run that on Legendary if you want to get a good like Marine Super 90 or Custom M870. But if you want the Sweet Dreams exotic shotgun, just run it on Challenging or Heroic. It just depends on how fast you can complete it per hour is the reason why you choose Challenging or Heroic. And then light machine guns at Jefferson Trade Center, you can get the Bullet King and Pestilence exotics. You can get the named LMGs, which there's quite a few of them. There's the New Reliable, the Carnage, the Good Times with Perfect Fast Hands, the Sleipnir, I think it's called. There's a lot of good named ones. And here's Mass over here, by the way, at Federal Triangle. You got only one control point and, well, quite a bit of bounties, actually. So if you want to farm there for the Coyotes mask, which is a DPS really good mask that is still kind of mandatory in DPS builds. You know, if it's a long range DPS build, like an M1A build, you don't need it. If it's up close and personal or even medium range, you're probably going to need it. And then of course the Vial mask, and you can farm for the Punch Drunk mask with that 20% headshot damage. Oh, and look over here, we got rifles at Capitol Building today. So if you're looking to run it on Legendary, you can farm for totally god rolled out M1A. The Diamondback and Merciless, you can just farm on Challenging and Heroic like I said, for the Sweet Dreams. But that's kind of interesting that it's at Capitol Building today. That kind of helps for people that need the best, you know, rolled rifles that they can get. Then you got chest pieces at Air and Space Museum, so that's the tardigrade armor system, the exotic chest piece. This is a really good day for chest pieces to be at Air and Space. I mean, it's a True Suns mission, so it has a higher drop rate chance to get that tardigrade armor. And then Hana Yu at Jefferson Plaza, the Force Multiplier backpack with perfect combined arms. Always worth it to farm for. You want skill haste and skill damage, and don't worry about that red mod slot. It's going away and becoming a generic one that you can put skill haste onto in TU11, which is coming out, I think, September 22nd, which is not far away at all. And then pistols at Space Admin, you can farm for like a good D50 usually. The Mozambique special, the named pistol that you usually get from Kajika, he drops it in the beginning of Warlords of New York. And you could farm the Liberty, but I always suggest just farming those 3 missions in a row and just crafting it with the D50. It's much faster than farming it for targeted loot. And of course, you had to have gotten the Liberty already to get that. Alright guys, let's go check out what we got in New York City before I let you guys go. Alright agents, we're over here in New York City. Let's check out the highlights for this. So we got gloves at Civic Center. You can of course get the contractor's gloves and the BTSU gloves, which are very worth it, by the way. If you're running any sort of hive, it's always worth it. You got holsters at 2 bridges, so the Imperial Dynasty holster and the Forge holster, which gives you that 50% shield health, so an extra skill tier to your shield health. The Providence Defense at Stranded Tanker. You also get a chance to get from Vivian Connolly the Imperial Dynasty holster, and you can get the Perfect Sacrifice named chest piece with perfect glass cannon on it, or just any better, you know, Providence Defense roll that you need on your DPS build. I'd recommend the Tombs today if you're farming for Fox's Prayer knee pad with that 8% damage to targets out of cover. You're going to get it more likely to drop here than farming knee pads. And then gear sets at Battery Park. You know, farm System Corruption, but if you're looking for anything but System Corruption or that Foundry, Bulwark, or Future Initiative chest and backpack pieces, just farm Battery Park today. And then you get the chance for the Lady Death to drop in the open world from the open NYC world bosses. And then you can get the Contractor's Gloves today at Wall Street. And it's Petrov, and you get a chance for the Bullet King to drop from the last boss at Wall Street because it's a Rikers mission and a Rikers boss. So this all kind of blends together really well with the whole Petrov, Contractor's Gloves, Bullet King. All of those just kind of mold together really well because they're all LMG based brand sets, you know, gloves, the actual LMG exotic, and then Murakami for that 10% skill duration. That's what I always see it as, something that gives you extra skill duration, which means your skills last longer out in the battlefield, which is very worth it. Alright agents, well that was the targeted loot today for September 12th. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed my content. You can also click the join button below to further support my dream of being a full-time content creator, and check out the Discord and Shadow Crew clan in the pinned comment section below. And remember to check out my new merch store if you're interested in any Shadow Gaming merchandise. Take care, agents, and be sure to stay tuned for more daily videos and much more. This is Agent Shadow signing off. I will see you in the next video. Take care, agents.